The ocean has always held mysteries. Some can be measured in tides, currents, and salinity. Others are less tangible, whispers of truth woven into the rhythm of the waves. This is the story of a man named Stephen, a renowned oceanographer who set out to heal the oceans, and in doing so, discovered a path that could transform all of humanity. Stephen was not an ordinary scientist. From a young age, he had been captivated by the sea, not only for its power, but for its silence, its hidden depths. He dedicated his life to oceanography, building a reputation as both a brilliant researcher and a passionate activist for the planet. His projects cleaned plastic from the oceans, restored dying coral reefs, and gave endangered species a fighting chance. He was celebrated at conferences, sought after by universities, admired by philanthropists. Yet despite his success, he often felt a quiet emptiness. He could measure waves, chart ecosystems, and analyze data, but he couldn't shake the sense that something vital, something beyond numbers, was calling to him. That calling revealed itself one evening, in the most unexpected place. Stephen had just returned from a long expedition in the Pacific. He was walking through the city, tired, his mind swirling with reports and deadlines. Along a quiet street, he noticed an older man sitting by a crumbling wall. His clothes were worn, his hair unkempt, his face weathered by time and hardship. Clearly homeless. But when their eyes met, Stephen felt an unusual weight, as if this stranger carried an entire library of unspoken knowledge. The man raised his head and spoke, not asking for money, not begging for food, but offering a statement that felt more like a riddle. "Do you know what happens when you compile frequencies?" Stephen paused. The question seemed out of place, almost nonsensical. Yet the way the man said it carried a certainty, as though he were revealing a secret that had been waiting for Stephen all along. The scientist in him was intrigued. "Compile frequencies?" He asked the man what he meant. The old man smiled faintly and replied, "Everything is vibration. Every cell, every ocean current, every planet in motion. When you learn not just to listen, but to compile, when you gather, layer, and align frequencies, you'll find the key. Not just to the oceans, not just to the earth, but to the future of mankind." Then he lowered his head again, as if his work in that moment was done. Stephen walked away bewildered. Yet something inside him shifted. The words followed him into his dreams, echoing with each crashing wave he studied, resonating with the hum of the deep-sea currents. Compile frequencies. It became his obsession. Stephen began to research, not just marine science, but physics, mathematics, sound, and even ancient traditions. He discovered that civilizations across history had spoken of vibration, resonance, and harmonics. He found that dolphins communicated through intricate frequency patterns. He learned how the Earth itself emitted a steady pulse, a low frequency that all life subtly responds to. The deeper he went, the more connections emerged. And then came the breakthrough. Stephen realized that by compiling frequencies, layering them, amplifying them, harmonizing them, he could unlock extraordinary effects. Plant growth accelerated. Water purified itself at unprecedented rates. Human brainwaves shifted into states of focus, healing, and creativity. What had begun as a cryptic remark from a homeless sage turned into a discovery that could transform medicine, agriculture, energy, and even space exploration. For the first time, Stephen felt he had moved beyond simply cleaning the planet. He was now contributing to the very advancement of human life. News of his work spread. Governments, private companies, and visionaries sought his counsel. Yet Stephen never forgot where the wisdom had come from. He often spoke not of himself, but of the mysterious man who planted the seed with a single phrase. As his research expanded, one application became particularly profound: space travel. Traditional propulsion was costly and slow, but frequencies, compiled and tuned, had the potential to create resonance fields that reduced resistance, stabilized environments, and even altered how matter behaved. In theory, they could open the door to faster, safer exploration of the stars. Stephen became a central figure in humanity's preparation for interstellar life. His name was spoken not only in the halls of science, but in the dreams of those who longed for humanity's next frontier. And yet, through all the recognition, Stephen remained humble. He returned often to the ocean, remembering that his journey began with water, with waves, with the pulse of the earth itself. He believed that the ocean was not just a resource to protect, but a teacher, a vast frequency, alive with lessons for those willing to listen. He also returned often to that quiet city street, hoping to find the old man again. Sometimes he wondered if the stranger had been real at all, or perhaps a messenger of something greater. But whether flesh or spirit, his words had set Stephen on the path that would alter humanity's destiny. In the years that followed, Stephen's legacy grew. Cities powered themselves with resonant energy systems. Oceans healed at accelerated rates through frequency-based cleansing. Spacecraft, guided by compiled frequencies, ventured further than anyone had ever dreamed. And when historians looked back at the turning point, the moment humanity began to transcend its limits, they traced it not only to Stephen's genius, but to a single encounter, a scientist who listened to the wisdom of a man the world had overlooked. The lesson was clear. Sometimes, the greatest discoveries do not come from laboratories or universities. Sometimes, they arrive from the margins of society, in the words of those who seem forgotten, yet carry truths too vast to ignore. Stephen often said in his later years, "The oceans taught me how to listen. The old man taught me what to hear. And humanity taught me what to do with it." We are frequencies, compiled into one great symphony, reaching for the stars. And so, the story of Stephen, the oceanographer who heard the frequencies, reminds us all that wisdom can arrive in the most unexpected forms. That healing the earth and advancing humanity are not separate missions, but one and the same. And that sometimes, the key to the future is just one conversation away.